on the importance of passing this ordinance. So I'm pleased to take part in this press conference and to express my support for the proposed Safe San Francisco Civil Rights Ordinance introduced by Supervisor Kim and Supervisor Chu. The proposed ordinance essentially will bring about greater transparency and accountability in law enforcement, and also in protecting the integrity of our law enforcement, and also both the privacy and civil rights of the people of San Francisco. Rights, I believe, should be extended across the state and, in fact, across the nation, not just here in San Francisco. Throughout 160 years of history of Chinese in the United States, Chinese Americans experience both overt and covert laws and overzealous law enforcement, criminalizing them by race. Repeals of all overt laws targeting Chinese Americans in the last 50 years failed, however, to eliminate racial prejudice and racial profiling against them. For example, throughout the Cold War, because of intense conflict between China and the United States, being Chinese American was synonymous with treason and espionage. We have J. Edgar Hoover, the lifelong director of the FBI, to thank for such sweeping and indiscriminate profiling of all Chinese Americans at potential national security risk. That was why he annually went before the Congressional Appropriations Committee to ask for special funding to keep all Chinese Americans under constant surveillance, a practice he continued even after President Richard Nixon came back from his historic trip to Beijing in 1972. That was why Dr. Qian Xuesen, the founding director of the Pasadena Jet Propulsion Lab in the early 1950s, from Dr. Qian to Dr. Wang.m4v of the Los Alamos National Laboratory in 2000, were unfairly targeted for persecution and prosecution based entirely on racial profiling. Racial profiling Chinese American scientists and engineers is now deeply ingrained in the culture of the FBI. As economic competition between China and the United States intensifies, and China bashing enters the acrimonious presidential debate that we are witnessing across the country now, we can expect the FBI to work overtime to expand its so-called assessments, or more accurately, fishing expedition of Chinese American scientists and engineers working in both public and private research laboratories under the so-called the FBI's Domestic Investigation and Operations Guide, and the overzealous federal prosecutors to use excessively harsh means to prosecute and unlawfully detain suspected Chinese Americans. This practice must be stopped, and it's still going on now. In fact, there's a pending case this afternoon at the federal court this afternoon there's going to be a hearing today. The proposed ordinance will extend the protection of the people of San Francisco. I fully support that and commend Supervisor Kim and Supervisor Chu and other civil rights organizations, especially the ACLU, for their vigilance. But I also believe that we need to carry the fight across the state and the nation, because profiling based on race, religion, and national origins knows no boundaries and respect no jurisdictional limit. Thank you.
Yeah.